my name's Kristi, and I'm here to talk about the birth of my daughter Cassidy, who's 3 months old. I also have a son, Soren, who's 2.5, and I told his birth story here previously. So Cassidy was not head down much of the time during my pregnancy, but she was spinning around in there, and my midwives were always interested. Where is she? Why can't I feel her? Why isn't she getting deep into your pelvis? So I had a little bit of anxiety about that, but I was just trusting in birth and knew that things would work out the way they were supposed to. I was late with Cassidy, so at 41 weeks I had some standard testing, and when I had the ultrasound, we found out she was transverse. I said, that's okay, that's interesting. We found that out about noon, I think, on a Friday, and she was transverse with her head to the left. And although she had been in lots of different positions in the previous 5 or 6 weeks, whenever I went in for an ultrasound, she'd always been head down. So this time she wasn't, and it was 41 weeks, so Pete and I, my husband, had to really think about, like, oh, okay, maybe things are not going to go as planned, and think about turning her, and just sort of had some sadness about the loss of maybe having a vaginal birth. Then I had some more testing, and we did monitoring of some sort of her heartbeat, and everything seemed fine. And then I met with the doctor, and when I met with the doctor, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The ultrasound results hadn't come back, and so she did us a quick next ultrasound, and this is literally 3 hours after my first ultrasound, and now my daughter was transverse with her head to the right. 41 weeks, everyone's sort of shaking their heads. The doctor said, oh, they must have just labeled it wrong in the picture. And Pete said, no, her head was definitely on the other side. So she had spun around at least once in those few hours. So we said, okay, great, maybe she will be head down when birth comes, and she's just not ready yet, and that's fine. But we did schedule an external cephalic version for the following day, for Saturday, to have her moved around. And I'm pretty, for myself, I was opposed to medical intervention, but that seemed like a reasonable intervention. Okay, she's sideways in my uterus, maybe we should try to get her head down. So I went in on Saturday, I think about noon, and was all excited to have her head down, and the doctor came in to do the procedure and started with an ultrasound, and they said she's already head down. So she had turned herself head down. And then the doctor said, we know you want to have a home birth, but if you were our patient, we would induce you right now or break your waters. You're already 3 centimeters dilated, your body's ready, she's head down, you want a vaginal birth, this is probably what we should do. And I thought about it for about 10 seconds, and I said, I really respect your opinion, but I also really respect that my body wants to do it. I'll go into labor when my body's ready, and I think that if anything had happened, if we had induced and I ended up in a C-section or ended up not going the way I wanted, and a hospital birth is not what I wanted, just think I would have always questioned that and felt bad about having started it when my body wasn't ready. So we went home that evening, and I was wearing some kind of a crazy elastic band around my abdomen to try to give her less space so she would stay head down, and was not very comfortable. And we had dinner with friends and just sort of savored the day. 41 weeks, I knew she was coming soon, and we were just savoring our time together as a family of 3. We went out for ice cream that night, and just feeling like every moment was precious, and our lives were really about to change.